I used to have a handle on life. It broke. What's going on, YouTube? We are inside the Hollow City, inside of Cold Harbor, to go over our first of two golden vendors. Now, we talk about the first of two golden vendors for obvious reasons. One, it's got furnishings. Now, obviously, you may want to purchase these furnishings for yourself. You may want to sell them onwards. Let's talk about, do these have a resale value? The answer is these actually do have a pretty decent resale value. People will phase these into walls to give them unique different looks. The Orcus theme is not the most popular. However, everybody loves active objects. These are objects that can move and do things and twist and turn, and everybody generally loves those. I don't necessarily understand what's going on here with this counterweight, how you could build that into something, but somebody will. So if you want to look at these items to either purchase or resell, these are some pretty decent ones to do so, especially because a 3,000 gold price point, 4,000 gold price point is exceptionally good. And before we jump into our second golden vendor, just a quick shout out to all of you guys that were still able to watch my video last Tuesday, last Friday, even with them being late. I apologize for that. I'm just getting better now. My voice is finally recovering. My eye is no longer bloodshot. It's been a weird week. Not been sick in a long, long time. So thank you guys. Let's jump into the golden vendor. So inside of our Cyrodiil High Rock Gate, we're going to find ourselves an assortment of items, starting with the Necklace of the Withered Hand, the most farmed jewelry set in the game. Does that mean it's good? No, because that is how people clickbait you. If I said this is the most farmed jewelry set in the game, you have to agree with me. Why? Because it comes from the Alakir Desert, and people farm that son of a bitch all day. So, in theory, it is the most farmed set. However, the bit of a problem with that is that it's mediocre. I think it's a decent, sustained set. However, there's just so many better options these days when it comes to sustained sets. So this is literally the definition of a C or average or 5 out of 10 set. Next up, from Falkreath Hold, it is one of, if not the best DPS set in the game. It comes from a dungeon that's easily farmable, so you're going to be able to complete this bad boy, and you're going to be able to deal some DPS. I actually have a theory. It's not a perfect theory, but what I believe the developers intended is that for endgame trial sets to be obtained by you starting by doing dungeons, getting those dungeon sets, and then completing trials, and then for PvP, a lot of PvP sets are from either the Overland or from crafted sets. It's just a running theory I have. It's not perfect. However, from Falkreath Hold, you have one of the best PvE sets in the game for DPS. When you deal damage, you create a fissure. That fissure causes bleed damage. Not really sure how that works necessarily logistically. When I think of earthquakes, I don't think of bleeding necessarily, but it happens, and then it happens for a long damage over time, and you deal tons of damage. It's a great set. Highly recommend that you get this if you do not have it already. And the nice thing is, if you do buy this, you're also taking up a slot in your sticker book, so now every time you run Falkreath Hold, you're guaranteed to not get this necklace from the final boss. You're going to get those other pieces that you don't already have. Next up, from the Dread Cellar, we have Scryon's Feast. Now, this is a set that does a lot. The developers knew that I was still losing my voice, and they thought, let's put the longest text in the game and make Jake read it to his viewers. So basically, you deal damage with a fully charged heavy attack, and then that gives you and 3 other group members 304 magicka and stamina recovery. That's fantastic. But then, if you deal damage with a fully charged heavy attack again, with the active ability above, already active, you gain an Overflow Aurora, giving 3 group members for 10 seconds 307 weapon and spell damage. Now, this is one of those sets that's obviously 4-man geared towards, because there's 4 of you. In a trial, you don't want to just give buffs to 3 people. With our luck, we'd give them to the tank, and that wouldn't be super helpful. So, when you look at a set like this, it's obviously cool. However, it does struggle with its uptime. It's definitely one of those ones that's really hard to keep up. And when you consider that there's other sets that can kind of do similar things, is it worth it? Generally, no. But this is definitely like a B set. This is definitely like a 7.5 out of 10 set when it comes to that kind of PVE 4-man type alternate set combo. Next up, from Vardenfell, we have a War Maiden for 125,000 gold or 225,000 alliance points. Now, why is War Maiden potentially worth your quandary? it also proves my theory that overland sets are generally geared towards PvP. This is a set that actually kind of continues my theorem. However, is this a set that you should purchase? Why is this better than most overland sets? Well, little Timmy, the reason why you might want to buy the Withered Hand, for example, even if this was a best-in-slot PvP set, is because everybody and their mom is farming dolems in the Alakir Desert 24/7. They'll just throw up those purple necklaces onto the market, and you can just upgrade them to gold. Well, that actually falls through slightly because War Maiden doesn't have any Daedric dolmens. There's no dragons. There's no evil sea creatures coming out of the ocean. And by that definition, there's no world events to farm jewelry. There's also no easy chest routes. However, a bit of a contrary point here. There's also, this set's been out for a while. So while it is very good, a lot of people that want it generally do have it. They might not have it gold, but you're not going to make a crazy amount of profit on it because it's not one of the newer DLCs. So this is all things to take kind of into consideration when you're making and appraising an item. But this is definitely like an A set. It's not an S tier set, but it's definitely, an A set. You could definitely get a lot from 600 weapon and spell damage to your magicka abilities. It's been around for a while. It stood the test of time when it comes to being relevant with new classes, new sets. And because of that, I think it's going to continue its longevity down the road. Next up from Dire Frost Keep, Rehab, the Monster Helmet. Now, for those of you who are unaware, just by completing a dungeon on Veteran, you get one of these helmets. So you actually only thing you're buying here is just saving yourself from farming a non-DLC dungeon. So is it worth it? No, but it's still a good set. Let's talk briefly about it. I think this is actually one of the best sets if you're interested in farming solo arenas. I think especially if you don't have access to mythics, this is a great way to get around needing things like the Pale Order Ring because it gives you a chance as you're dealing damage with critical chances to give yourself a shield, deal a little bit of damage around you. I think it's a really easy set to kind of get in the swing of things when it comes to getting into that solo content, Infinite Archive type content. So it's pretty good for that. But again, just farm the dungeon. Don't buy this. Next up, we have Lord Warden, which the boy, Mr. T.C. Lee, Mr. Tank Club Professional, gives this set a 3 out of 5. And I'm going to link his article below because he's the resource when it comes to tanking and all of the useful information when it comes to that. And to paraphrase his words here, he gave it a 3 out of 5. What he said about it is it's used mostly in prog groups to help give damage dealers more survivability and more resistance. So that's generally what you're going to see its utilization used for. But overall, it seems like a pretty decent set that you might want to have just in your repertoire if you are a tank. However, again, this is a helmet, so this is just something you're going to get by just doing the Imperial City sewers. So you could just farm that dungeon, and then you don't need to buy it. But sometimes when it comes to DLC dungeons, there is part of me that thinks, especially if you play on PC where inflation is so high, 100,000 gold is a perfect row. For selling a single perfect row on PC on A, you can buy this helmet and save yourself from spending 40 minutes farming a dungeon. So from there, I see that it's probably worth it. But if you're playing on console, it probably isn't worth it. And even on PCEU, where perfect row, which is about 30 to 40 minutes worth of work, it's only about 60,000 gold. So then it's like, well, 2 perfect row, that's about 120,000 gold. It's about an hour and 15, 20 minutes of work. Would you rather have fished? Would you rather have farmed a dungeon? That could potentially be up to you. But if you play on console, it's like 5 perfect row versus of your time. So for there, I generally don't think it's worth it. But everyone, thank you guys so much again for watching. Obviously, we're still doing our 3 giveaway drawings. And to give you a synopsis of where we are at 450,000 gold from flipping. I believe we started with around 179,000 gold, flipped to 455,000. That also did take care of 2 20,000 a week dues as well as a 15,000 a week dues. So I had to do the math there because my sick brain's still struggling to do some math. I would like to try to only flip items on stream just so that way you guys are seeing what we're getting. So I'm going to try to do it either Saturday or Sunday, depending on how my voice is. It's pretty decent. You might notice a couple jump cuts in the video. That's every so often I'll just lose my voice. You probably hear me start to go every so often as the video cuts and then jumps to me sounding normal again. But thank you guys for bearing with me. Good to be back. Good to be making videos on time, accurately. So thank you. Great, happy weekend here. So leave a comment in the comments below to be entered in our first giveaway. Second thing is, if you'd like to enter, all you have to do is be subscribed on YouTube and follow on the old Twitch. By doing both of those things, you're actually entered twice. We're I think like 150 Twitch followers away from our 1,000 goal, which would be absolutely massive. Third thing is a random gift card be flashed upon the screen. Next month, you guys want me to switch up the gift card from Amazon to something else. It looks like we're leaning towards either Steam or Xbox or something. So we'll kind of figure out what we're going to do for next month in a poll. But thank you guys so much again, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jakeclips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.